Hi, I'm Stu from Hive Mind Automation and welcome back to the Hive. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the all-new Switchbot Hub 3. As always, we'll take a look around the outside of the box, we'll get it out of the box, and we'll take a look at setting it up in the Switchbot app. Now, because this is a Matter-enabled hub, we'll also take a look at getting it into Apple Home as well, and maybe even, if we've got time, getting it into Home Assistant while we're at it. So while I roll the intro, why don't you take a moment to subscribe, and if you hit the bell icon, you'll get notifications when I release new videos. While you're at it, if you like what I do here and you want to support the channel, there's some affiliate links in the video description to smart home gadgets that you can buy for your very own smart home and support the channel at the same time, or you can support the channel directly through my Buy Me a Coffee link. Of course, those affiliate links and my Buy Me a Coffee link can all be found on my website, hivemindautomation.com.au. With all of that out of the way, let's get started. So a while ago now, good friends of the channel Switchbot reached out asking if I wanted to check out the new Switchbot Hub 3. Around about the same time they asked about the Lock Ultra that we've reviewed previously, and of course I said yes. The Hub 3 is the latest Matter-enabled hub from Switchbot. It controls Matter devices from other brands as well. It controls infrared controlled products as well, like TVs or air conditioners or DVD players and those kinds of things, and obviously all of the Switchbot devices, and it's also able to act as a Matter bridge for up to 30 devices, and it can apparently also operate as a Matter button to send up to 30 different commands. It has 4 built-in sensors for environmental monitoring, and it comes with a nice desk stand, or you can use the mounting plate to mount it nicely onto a wall. Now, of course, we already paired the Lock Ultra in a previous video up to Apple Home using our Hub 2, but we could reasonably use it with the Hub 3 that we have here, and then use the controls on this Hub 3 to also then control that Lock Ultra. Now, the Switchbot Hub 3 is $119.99 US, or £129.99 in the UK, or €129.99 in Europe. And if you're looking to pick one up for yourself, there'll be some links in the video description to both the Switchbot or Amazon stores, both in the UK and US, and they help the channel out as well. On the Switchbot site right now, there's no details for an Australian version, but it's realistically just a case of getting an Australian USB power adapter so that you can power the unit. In terms of prerequisites, you're going to want the Switchbot app on your phone, and you're also going to need a 2.4 GHz wireless network. To get the most out of this hub, you're also likely to want other Switchbot accessories, but it's certainly not a requirement. You'll still get great results from this unit with just some simple infrared remote controllers for things like air conditioners, TVs, DVD players, or theoretically even those simple LED strips that have the remote control to change the color. So let's head over now to the unboxing bench and take a look around the outside of the box.
Starting off on the front of the box, we have Switchbot Hub 3, Smarter Connections, Infinite Control, works with Alexa, Hey Google, Siri shortcuts, IFTTT, and SmartThings, a picture of the unit itself, and the Matter logo in the bottom right. On the bottom, there's nothing. On the top, just the Switchbot logo. On the right-hand side, we have Matter Certified, Smart Scene Customization, Infrared Remote Control, Multiple Streaming Device Command, Environmental Data Display, Lock Series Status Management. And on the left, voice commands, and some examples of those there, and a serving suggestion of the unit as well. Lastly, on the back, we've got some specifications works as part of Switchbot ecosystem and a graph of how you can set that up with the various Switchbot devices on the left, and on the right, some assorted infrared devices that you might be able to control with it. And then the specifications for the Hub 3. The material is polycarbonate and ABC and aluminium alloy. the size, the weight, the Type-C port power ratings, the operating temperature range, the operating humidity range, connectivity details, and then over here we have the temperature and humidity sensor specs, and all of those are listed there. You can even see the accuracy of those sensors. And of course, in the bottom right, we have the website and the email for Switchbot support.
And with that covered off, let's now get it out of the box.
So we will start by pushing the main box out of the cardboard sleeve, and then we should be able to peel back this sticker here and then lift the flap up here. We have this white box on top, which we will grab and pull out. And there's a couple of bits and pieces in here, so we'll open that up. And sliding everything out here, we have right on top, we've got our Switchbot Matter pairing details there and the support details on the back. A couple of strips of pre-cut VHB tape, as always. Our limited warranty card there. Our Switchbot safety and regulatory compliance information. Another piece of 3M VHB tape pre-cut, that's for the temperature and humidity sensor. We have our drilling template for the mounting plate, and then our user manuals in different languages available here as well. I'll grab the English one and take a quick look through that. And after cleaning up a bit, we'll then grab this plastic bag out, which contains the Switchbot Hub itself, and we'll slide it out of the bag. And we have this nice black, sleek unit. The dial and the buttons all feel really nice. It feels really well made. Around the back, we see we've got our input and output USB-C ports and our Matter pairing sticker there, and there's a little speaker on the side, an infrared receiver and blaster on top, another speaker on that side. And we'll put that aside and then pull out this cardboard separator. And under here, we have another plastic bag, and inside here, we have our desk mount, which has the wall plate attached to it as well. I snapped the hub onto the desk mount, which is not too hard. You just probably should read the instructions, and then grabbed out this final box, and inside here we can open that up and we find our Euro power adapter there. We'll need an Australian one, and we've got some mounting hardware, and lastly our USB A to C cable, and it has the temperature and humidity sensors embedded in it, much like the Hub 2 does, and it's fairly good quality, nice flat ribbon cable there. Now, because we are going to be replacing this with a different adapter, we need to check it is a 5 volt at 2 amp for 10 watt adapter. So we'll need one of those, but with the Australian prongs. So there's the unit next to the desk mount. To mount it on, you just kind of slide it onto the top hooks and then clip it in as you push the back down.
With everything out of the box, we can now get it powered up and paired into the Switchbot app.
So, as always, we'll start by opening up the Switchbot app on our iPhone, and we'll tap the plus button in the top right-hand corner of the screen, and then tap Add Device. After a few moments of scanning on the Add Device screen, we see the Hub 3 populated at the top. After tapping that, we get a warning about not using it for life support equipment, and that we need to ensure that automations and remote control features are used with care. And we're prompted to plug in the power cord and wait for the screen to turn on. We've already done that, and then we can tap Connect Device. It's discovering the device and then connecting to the device. For whatever reason, the first time around it failed, so I tapped back and then read the instructions and pressed and held the on and off button for 2 seconds until we saw the Discovery Mode logo on the screen and the white dot in the top left flashing, and then I tapped Next and it discovered the device immediately and then connected. With that done, we were able to tap Next and then enter our Wi-Fi credentials. After tapping Next, it was verifying for a moment, then verified, And then after what seemed like forever, it said connected to the network. We then got a check mark on the screen of the unit, and it started to load the humidity and temperature data on screen as well. A few more seconds passed with the connecting to the network, and then we were able to set the name and pick a room. In this case, I set it to be in my office, and I left the name alone and tapped Start Using. It said added successfully, and now we have the temperature sensor in my left hand, and squeezing that, we can see the temperature and humidity raised there.
And now we can take a look around inside the native app.
From the main dashboard of the Switchbot app, tapping the Hub 3 BC, it connects and we see the temperature, the room humidity, and the room light level is currently 13. And I'll turn the light off and we'll see if that updates. I'll tap on displayed info down the bottom here, and we can see that we can then add things like our weather data. So if we flick that switch on, it will add the external weather data at the top there. We can also change our environmental data source. Tapping that, we can select where we're getting the information from. At the moment, it's the Hub 3 because that's the only thing connected. But if we connected another temperature and humidity sensor, we could use that. We can see lock status, and when we tap that, it's asking us to add one. Because we haven't added the lock ultra here, we would need to do that. Backing out and then tapping devices and scenes, we can see manage devices, and we can import existing ones, and we'll add the roller shade and maybe some other things in here like the robot vacuum. The air purifier table is probably a good one because that's in my office at the moment. And we can then tap batch add, and we'll see that we've got that added into devices and scenes. And on the unit itself, we can tap the S button, and then we can choose between the roller shade or the air purifier table. And then we've got the shortcuts that we defined, and tapping 10%, and the roller shade rolled up to 10%. Tapping any of those 4 shortcuts will move the roller shade to the specified position there. On and off is 100% in either the open or closed direction, and spinning the dial will also move it. The only thing a bit strange there is that spinning the dial, it doesn't give any feedback as to the target position. So that's a little bit weird. Back over to the app and then backing out to the main screen, we can then tap add remote control, and we can either duplicate from another hub or select one of the predefined options there. Tapping on the settings in the top right, and we can see all of the usual stuff, such as editing the info, such as the name and location. We've also got device settings in here, and in here we can see the language, whether or not 24-hour time's enabled, auto brightness, the button and knob sounds, the detection sensitivity, the approach to wake. So there's a motion sensor in the unit that allows us to wake on approach. There's a standby screen, and we can use that standby screen to change the display after about 30 seconds. If we enable that standby screen, we can change the standby in amount there, and we can change the appearance from either home to show the tempered humidity as we normally would, or we can change it to a clock, which is what I've set this to. And then it says if enabled, the Hub 3 will display the home screen after the time you specified. Back to the settings menu, we've got alert conditions, and we can turn the alarm sound and the volume on and off. We can change whether or not temperature and humidity alerts are on, the absolute alert, the dew point alert, and the VPD alert. And if we turn those on, we can then change the setting. There's calibration from the main menu, and we can calibrate either the temperature or humidity, and then there's instructions on how to do that. We have alarm settings, and we can set up an alarm for a specific time of day and specific days here, and choose the labels and the sounds there. Further down, we have Do Not Disturb, and if we turn that on, it's activated. Lights and sounds won't show up. In logs, we can see different activities that have occurred. There's nothing there right now. And in Wi-Fi settings, we could change the Wi-Fi details if we wanted to, but we can also see the IP address. Third-party services is where we connect to third-party services. And when we tap Matter, we show the how to set up Matter. Backing out, we have NFC, and we can use function shortcuts with NFC to then trigger remote controls. The alarm's just gone off there because I set it to 3:52, and it's just completed that, and we just cancelled that out. Back to the app, and we can go into the installation guide here, and it says to position near the router and make sure we've got everything we need, including the wall mounting brackets, etc. Tapping next on here would take us to the instructions on how to mount it on the wall, but I'm going to back out of here and we'll take a look at that another time. We've also got help and feedback where we can access the user manuals from the website. Backing out, we've got frequently asked questions on the Switchbot site, and then we've got a feedback form where we can send feedback directly to Switchbot from within the app. Backing out, we've got firmware version now, and we can see whether or not we've got firmware updates available. And I did have one between the time of filming and the time of editing this video. In device info, we've got the Bluetooth low energy MAC address and the Wi-Fi MAC address. So the last thing left to do is the Matter setup. So if we tap on Matter setup, it tells us how to set up Matter, and we'll tap next, and we'll tap connect device, and we'll tap OK. It says connected, and then we get our Matter enabled setup code, which we'll copy, and then we'll tap setup, which takes us over to Apple Home. We can tap the plus button, add accessory, and then tap the Switchbot Hub 3 in the discovered devices there. We'll paste in the code and tap continue. It shows as a bridge, and it may take a few minutes to connect. We get a warning that bridge accessories can automatically add to our home. We'll tap OK, and it continues connecting. After a few moments, we get to choose the location. I'll leave it in the office, and change the name. I'll leave that alone. And we've got the bridges added to the Hive. Now we have the different sensors that we can also add, and they're all connected to the device itself. So we'll just continue. We see the motion sensor show up there, and occupancy sensor name, and whether or not we want to add automations. We've got the temp sensor and the humidity sensor we saw at the start. And so those sensors are now added to the office. We can see the temperature and humidity at the top. And if we tap on one of those, we can see the different settings for that. And we can scroll through, see whether or not motion's detected, the occupancy state, etc. And then if I tap the three dots in the top right hand corner and then go to Home Details and then Home Hubs and Bridges and find the Office Switchbot Hub 3, we can see the details about the hub, like the manufacturer, serial number, model, firmware, and even the accessories linked to it. And we can turn on pairing mode, which we'll do later. Heading back over to the Switchbot app and tapping secondary devices now allows us to add different devices to the Matter pass-through here. So if we wanted to add the roller shade or the dining room window or the Hub 3 buttons, we can do that, and those will then be passed through to Apple Home using the Matter pass-through. I've set up 5 devices in there, and now if we head back over to Apple Home, and you can see straight away we've got the roller shade in Apple Home as well as some other items across the top there, and we can then tap that and go to accessory settings and change the name, add it to an automation or a scene. So if we go into suggested scenes, it's going to suggest the good night scene, which I'm going to add that to so that it closes, and we'll just tap done, and we'll back out here, and we could see the include in home summaries or activity notifications, all of these things that we would normally see for a standard HomeKit device. These are now accessible to us because we're passing this information through over Matter for this hub. And we've got control of the Switchbot roller shade from Apple Home. So the last thing to do now is to get it into Home Assistant. So over in my demo instance of Home Assistant, I went over to my settings and then devices and services, integrations, and I found my Matter integration there. We can see the 5 devices there. We don't have our Hub 3. So off camera on my phone, I'm just going into Apple Home and then finding the accessory settings for the Hub 3. Scrolling to the bottom and turning on pairing mode and copying that code to my clipboard. Thanks to Apple Handoff, it's now in the clipboard on my computer. We'll go back to settings, devices and services, click add integration in the bottom right, add Matter device. Yes, it's already in use. Apple Home, paste our setup code and then tap add device, and it's adding the device. It may take a minute or two. After just shy of a minute, it popped up and we can see we've got the configuration to identify the unit and then a list of the connected devices like the humidity sensor, the motion sensor, the temperature sensor. Those are all on the hub itself. And then we've got the additional accessories that we've linked like the Meter Pro CO2 sensor and the roller shade. If we head back out and find our devices and services pane and then go into Matter here, we now see we've got 11 devices where previously we had 5, and we've got all the different things that we linked with that hub, and we can open and close, for example, the roller shade with Home Assistant now, which is fantastic. And of course, with all of the different sensors in here, we can now use these sensors as triggers in Home Assistant automations. So then off camera, I went back into the Switchbot app and into the Matter settings for the Hub 3, and I added in the Switchbot bot, and it showed up almost immediately in Home Assistant. And we can do the same thing with other devices, such as the outdoor meter, or the air purifier, or the K10 Plus Pro Combo vacuum. And presumably if I toggle that switch on, it's going to start a cleaning cycle.
So that's my all new Switchbot Hub 3. I quite like the design of the unit. I think it's really nice and sleek and the buttons feel really good. The screen is really clear and easy to read as well. And the mounting options for either the desk or the wall mount is quite a nice touch as well. Everything feels really well made, and I've found it really convenient having it sitting on my desk and using it to see the temperature and the humidity, the time and date, and also being able to use it to open and close the Switchbot roller blind that I installed in my office as well. If you can see around the cat here on my B camera, you'll note that it's fairly similar in the design and the usage pattern to the Switchbot Universal Remote that we saw in the past. So when we hit the Switchbot S logo, we choose the different devices and the rotary knob in the middle there with the then select button that we can change the different devices there. So it seems like this is the new design language that Switchbot are using, and the cat is being very helpful here today. Now, if you've not already got yourself a Matter-capable hub for any Switchbot accessories that you might have, or you've already hit the limit of your existing Switchbot hub, which in the case of this Switchbot Hub 2 that I have here behind me, that is 8 devices that it can pass through to Matter. So the new Hub 3, allowing up to 30 devices to be passed through to Matter, is a fair bit more than 8. That said, we did see there in both Apple Home and in Home Assistant that 4 of those are taken up by the internal sensors of the unit. If you've got a handful of, say, Switchbot roller blinds, some temperature and humidity sensors scattered around, maybe a couple of the Switchbot curtains that was one of the first devices from Switchbot I reviewed, it would be pretty easy to get above that 8 device limit of my Switchbot Hub 2 here. And with the added infrared remote functionality, which isn't new by the way, it is on the Switchbot Hub 2 and the Switchbot Hub Mini, I feel like it'd still be a great device to be mounted on the wall, say in a lounge room with an air conditioner or a TV, or other infrared controlled audio-visual equipment. Maybe a theater room would actually work really well for that, with something like an infrared controlled projector and an AV receiver and some other bits and pieces there as well. And it is worth pointing out as well that a Switchbot Hub, whether it's the new Hub 3, the Hub Mini, or the Hub 2 here behind me, they are required to bridge your Switchbot Bluetooth devices to then be able to control them remotely when you're away from home. So if you don't already have a Switchbot Hub and you do have Switchbot devices, I would say the Hub 3 is a great place to start. Once again, I'd like to say a massive thanks to Switchbot for their ongoing support of Hive Mind Automation here. But with all of that said and done, let me know what you think about the all-new Switchbot Hub 3. That's all we have for this video, and I do hope that it's helped you in your home automation and smart home journey. Do be sure to comment down below with a home automation idea that you'd like to see covered in a future video. And don't forget to follow Hive Mind Automation on Instagram and Facebook. If you liked this video, hit the thumbs up button down below to give it a like. And if you're not already subscribed, please consider changing that now. While you're at it, if you hit the bell icon, you'll get notified when I release new videos. And lastly, if you like what I'm doing here and you want to help support the channel, there's a Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Any contribution you make through Buy Me a Coffee does get put towards making more and hopefully better content for you to enjoy. Don't forget to check out my website as well, hivemindautomation.com.au. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Stu from Hive Mind Automation, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.